Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about how I made this layout in the latest altered book that I'm working on. It's in this old, kind of banged up book from 1851. And last month, I showed a video where I made this layout with pockets. Today, it's just a static collage layout. And I'm going to talk about how and why I chose these images and where they go on the page. Let's go. Whenever I do an altered book tutorial, I often get good comments about the ones that show what I do not use, which is kind of ironic because I spend most of the lesson showing you, talking about things that you're not going to see in the end result. That is because that is the nature of making a really strong layout. Sometimes maybe you see a collage or altered book layout and you think, whoa, they found some pretty stuff and just glued it down. That is not how it works. You have to have your images and then move them around and around with other guys, other embellishments, until finally it clicks, and then you start your layout. So that's what I'm going to do today, is talk about what I'm not going to use. The only thing I knew for sure when I started this layout was that I was going to use Napoleon on the side, anchoring this corner of the page, and some other image facing him, probably another black and white engraving. Now, I could stop right here, and this would be a lot of charm. This would be a fine layout. But I do want it to have more interest to the page. So I'm thinking about adding one of these for a background. These are French receipts from the 1900s. I'm using originals, but I have made some high-res scans, and they're going to be coming out in my next online newsletter. That's this coming Sunday. And if you would like these, they're free, by the way, just sign up. The link to the newsletter is in the text below this video, and you'll get these. You can use them in your own work. This is called a quittance. It's basically a canceled check. Now, I really, really like this a lot. It will go down semi-transparent because it's almost like a tissue paper, which means that the French text below will come through. It's also letting a little bit of the original text show on either side, which gives it a border and lots of layer, and that's cool. Now, unfortunately, Napoleon would be taking up a lot of valuable real estate by covering up this charming stamp that's here. But that's not the worst. I mean, you've got a lot going on here with the handwriting and whatnot. But the thing is, this isn't original, and this is one of a kind. It's not coming back. So do I want to use this? I would have to trim it. Do I want to do that, or do I want to wait and use this in a larger book where I can just use the whole thing intact? Maybe. This is another strong possibility. This is an invoice, a facture from a department store. It's from 1906, and it has this cool original handwriting. Now, over here, this is fine, and I actually like that. Almost as if the writing is telling us, maybe that's what he's thinking. Probably not. The trouble is, the images that I'm thinking about for this side pretty much are going to be covering up one of the most charming parts of the whole letterhead. And I'm just not so sure that's the best way to use this piece. This is another kind of a bill. And it also is on a very thin paper, so anything underneath it is going to show through, like this text. But it will show through the handwriting, so that is going to be really, really good. This would have to also be trimmed, but not to any great detrimental way. Now, I like this a lot. I think partly because the paper is ivory, or a vanilla color rather than a gray white. It gives it a lot of, a patina. So this one I am very, very tempted by. But there's one more, and that is another invoice over here. It also has a stamp. It's from 1909. And even though it's not quite as charming as the ivory colored one that we just looked at, there's something about it. I don't know, I think partly because of the text going across the top here, that is making a really nice frame for what's going inside. And then they've also, the stamp's going to be in the middle, the text is in the middle, nothing's being parked on too much. So I am going to go with this. For this, I am using a gel medium. It's acrylic gel. You can use a PVA or Mod Podge, but I find that this has a lot of slip, which is good. And it also cuts down on the wrinkling. Sometimes when you're using old paper, you get some bubbling. I'm just making a nice coat there. And you want to do that on some wax paper or greaseproof paper. And now I'm just going to line up, let's see, the fold in the middle. And first I'm going to just get it nice and flat on one side so that I can make sure that this side tucks in just a little bit to that spine. You don't want it too tight or it will break. It might break anyway, but you have a better chance if you give it just a little bit of room there. After all that, it did give on the spine, and there is some wrinkling and buckling. But you know what? That's okay. This book is 170 years old, and sometimes the book is going to do what it wants to do. Let's see who's going to be Napoleon's co-star, shall we? I could move him here so that he's flush with the edge of the facture, but I think for right now I'm just going to pull him so that he's anchoring that page. Now, all along I kind of thought I was going to go with the long-eared African fox, mainly because he's just so cool. That is one charming image. But somehow Napoleon's gaze is, well, I like the characters to interact with each other or have some kind of narrative. And here Napoleon's gaze is going sort of off and out to his own personal delusions of grandeur. And this fox is looking down in a more humble way. And I don't know, they're just not talking to each other. It is very tempting to use this flamingo. They both have a vertical stance, and that's good visually. They aren't really interacting with each other, but nobody ever went wrong with a strong vintage flamingo. So we'll see. This one is tempting. This is not an engraving, it's an illustration, and the tone is a little off, but that's okay because he's really bold, and you got to be bold to be in the frame with Napoleon. To me, the narrative here is that, again, he's looking into his own personal eternal glory, and usually I like them to look at each other, but he's actually looking off as to say, what? What the? Are you sure? Because I'm not seeing what you're seeing, pal. So I kind of like that. This is not as much image, but that's okay too, because it really lets the text shine. And it fills this space nicely. It's also got a vertical stance. And while he's smaller, his gaze does have some gravitas. And they are actually staring in the same direction, which gives a nice symmetry to that. So that is tempting. Here's another bird. He's a kind of a blackbird, or maybe it's a rook. I like the way that he is staring at Napoleon in a way that doesn't agree or disagree, but he is kind of saying, I think he's saying to him, you might want to think about your life choices, because he's got this stern glance. We'll see. Visually, I think we saw some that are a little stronger. And I'm really tempted by this. This is a magpie. And magpies have white feathers, but they also have iridescent black, green, and blue feathers. So it's a beautiful, beautiful bird. And even though this is black and white, look at this. The white plumage is very much picked up by the white waistcoat here that Napoleon's wearing. And then the dark plumage is more like his epaulets and shoulders. So that's pretty tempting. Armadillo. I'm going to pick one, be right back. We're down to the last two contenders, and I'm so tempted by this one. It's just a really whimsical layout. But you know what? I think I am going to go with Monsieur Magpie. Actually, the French word for magpie is pie. Okay, there we go. But what I wanted to show you was what happens when you move a piece in a layout just a little bit. What happens to the narrative? Here, we could move him in, and he's also framing the stamp. But that looks like he's being a little too aggressive with someone like Napoleon, so let's move him back here to the edge. That's a nice balance. But look what happens when I move him up here. I'm losing a little bit of the script, but now you can see they're engaged in a completely different way. He does seem as if he's talking to him. Is he counseling him or warning him? It's a good question. I'm going to glue those down. I changed my mind. I am going to do something about this. It's not necessarily bad. It's, in fact, in a way, the frayed characteristic is appropriate for old paper and an old book. But it's bugging me. So I'm going to mend that a little bit. When I mend bindings, I use a couple of different things, but in this case, my go-to is mulberry paper. Mulberry paper is available in craft stores and art stores and online. It is very thin, which means it's flexible, which is what you want going across that binding. But because it's got a lot of plant fibers, it's strangely resilient, especially compared to, say, a tissue paper, which if you get that wet, forget it. You can get this wet, like with this adhesive, and it's going to stay nice and strong. But again, be nice and flexible about going around those corners. Again, I'm lining it up on one side, flattening it out on one side, making sure there's a little bit of a crease there in the middle, a little bit of, I'm just adding, folding in a little extra space before flattening down this side. Now, clearly this has made a difference to the perfection of the layout. But that's also just a look. I like the way that this sepia color in the mulberry paper actually does contribute to the sepia colors and feel to the whole layout. So it's a look, and I'm just going to lean into it and embrace it. Finally, I want to add some embellishment. I want something to go down in this space. I don't want to add another image because that would make the thing too busy. There's a lot going on already. For filling up space, I like to use smalls. Butterfly wings or bird's eggs are something I like to use a lot, but I've got a lot of those on the next page, so maybe not. Instead, I have these postage stamps, which are great smalls for filling up space. These are French, but I actually got them at a postcard show in Forest-Spa near Swansea, where I live. And again, you just want to play around. Do I want this going here, this going there? And I'm happy with that. I'm even happier with that. Yeah, make it a little less symmetrical. So I am going to probably keep working on this page, but that's enough for today. This video is long enough. Again, please join me for my newsletter. You can sign up. There's a link in the text below this video. If you have any feedback or questions, let me know in the comments, please. I love to hear from you. And until next week, happy making.